We'll continue that later at my place. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So yesterday, Bill Clinton turned 80 years old. He celebrated it surrounded by all the people he loves, and Hillary. Thought this was nice to celebrate. He unwrapped an intern. And when it came time to blow out the candles, he made a wish, but to his chagrin, Hillary was still breathing. As his sexual misconduct probe heats up, FBI agents served Eric Swalwell with a search warrant and seized his cell phone. Eric, of course, responded to the confrontation just as you'd expect, with an erection. Former comedian Kathy Griffin says she was hurt that Rosie O'Donnell didn't invite her on when she was guest hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live. It seems network execs feared if they had them on together, people would think they were watching a rerun of Alien versus Predator. Now, it's true. It's true. A California political candidate is accused of election fraud for listing a dive bar as her home address. In her defense, that's where she spends 23 hours a day. ABC said the FCC forced The View to book far fewer political candidates as guests. Meanwhile, the EPA begged them to cut back on methane emissions. According to a new study, there's an increase in deadly car crashes every time Taylor Swift drops a new album. It's true. Evidently, people take their hands off the wheel to cover their ears. Science. Finally, a Florida woman accused of scamming senior citizens out of money was arrested and discovered hiding $3,200 in her vagina. In her defense, that's the last place anyone would ever look. It was all small bills, too. All right. So last weekend, thousands flocked to London's Trafalgar Square to mourn the death of a professor. Jason Arday was hailed as the youngest black professor in Cambridge history, highly respected scholar with impressive credentials. Until we found out his resume had more padding than Dylan Mulvaney's bra. He plagiarized tons of academic work, fudged his resume like crazy. Even crazier, he claimed he ran 30 marathons in 35 days, some with a broken leg. He raised a non-existent $5 million for charity, lied about having 2 brain tumors, spending months in a coma, and claimed he couldn't read or write until he was 18. He even claimed he survived testicular cancer despite having the balls to present these fantasies as truth. Basically, his whole life was as believable as Liz Warren beating General Custer at Little Bighorn. Now, when the truth came out, he resigned, but not after sicking his lawyers and police on reporters who covered his deceptions. Then he killed himself. And that crowd blames, obviously, racism. Which reminds me of another martyred soul who had gatherings in his honor, George Floyd. Cause of death? Racism. It certainly wasn't the lethal amount of fentanyl in his system, or the norfentanyl, or the meth, or the heart failure caused by the fentanyl, meth, or the drugs swallowed during the initial encounter. And even though the medical examiner said the fentanyl was at fatal level, that still wasn't the killer. No, it was the soft tissue injuries and concussions associated with pressure of a white racist cop. You see the similarities. You're not supposed to look at Floyd's circumstances and behavior that led him to his death any more than you would with the professor. How dare you notice the lies or the enablers who fed him? Because it's your fault, not his, for noticing. You know, he was just doing the job that he was hired for, the magical minority that made white libs feel virtuous. And pointing out his behavior, that would be racist. even though it's the opposite of racist to judge someone by their behavior. If you behave like a jackass, there's no one to blame but yourself. Don't I know that? But what is racist is what the woke think of black people. You need no experience or skills, because you're not just special, you're special ed. They're convinced blacks need their divine intervention. They have less faith in black skills than the KKK. And blacks being a permanent victim makes whites permanent heroes. But imagine at the hospital, someone with no medical expertise claims he's a chief of surgery, and we just have to believe him because he said so. Complain that so-called doctor tried to remove your spleen with a pizza cutter? Nice try, racist. So I don't blame Arday for his death. I blame Cambridge and the media who indulge his delusions, which once again raises a simple question. Does it matter who you say you are? You have so-called good-hearted people who will say, hey, if it's not hurting anyone, who cares if Mike says he's a Mary? Oh, what's that? Mike offed himself yesterday? Oh, those transphobes. But when a person dies from the misery caused by the gulf between fantasy and reality, the enablers don't get to share in the sorrow, and they certainly do not get to curse those who refuse to play along. A person committed suicide because he was granted a lifestyle based on a lie protected by a mob. It reminds me of a guy who came to my shows and said, I should write for you. All my friends say I'm the funniest guy they know. I said, don't believe them. They'll say anything to get you to shut up. Yet out of pity, I hired him anyway. But you know, it's why Simon Cowell was doing God's work, telling people who've been told for years that they have a voice of an angel, that they really have the voice of a hell's angel. He was trying to save those people from themselves. Someone had to do it. No one did it for the professor, especially those so-called mourners. And they should be sobbing, not just for the death of the professor, but for the death of truth. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She was on an equestrian team, so she's used to being around horses' asses. Co-host of the Party Lines podcast, Aaron McGuire. He's proof that hard work and humor both start with the letter H. Comedian Joe Mackey. His act is the reason he has to rely on his looks. Comedian Jeff Dye. And she may have the shivers, but she's funnier than Robin Quivers. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor. You know, when I saw this story, Aaron, I'm always reminded that even though people get mad when you call people out, it's better to call people out than to enable them to through a delusion that will ultimately end in some kind of self-destruction. And we see this all the time. It happens in lives with whether people are addicts or they believe in some kind of crazy fallacy or conspiracy.
Truth is the best disinfectant available. Being honest is the way to go. And asking the questions the journalist asks don't make them the problem here. The problem was the behavior of the individual who seemed to create a fantasy land of his career. That's the problem. The mental health issues on this are also worrisome because they're using the media as the out here versus the accountability, which is what it should be. Calling someone out for their bad behavior doesn't make journalism the problem. And believe me, I work with reporters all the time. I've seen reporters cross the line. I've seen reporters ask inappropriate questions. I've seen reporters act inappropriately. This is not that instance. And to not be able to call out the honest moment here is really the larger issue. And how am I ever the one to defend the media in this instance? but I am.
You shouldn't even have to defend him because they coddled him for years. This was an open secret. It didn't happen until he was outed by another professor who actually analyzed like 10 of the papers that he loved, and it found like he had almost nothing to do with them. So, Joe, you know, this is a perfect topic for you because I often try to rid you of your delusions of talent. And in many ways, you should be grateful that I often say you'll amount to nothing. Because when you do achieve a little something, you must feel pretty good.
Greg, you often remind me of Simon Cowell because you're quite critical and you both have man boobs. I'm just teasing, you don't. But I will say this. I will say this. Just because someone might harm themselves, you can't predict that. It doesn't mean you can't criticize people who do something wrong. And Jason Arday's case is in no way analogous in the scale of making up your resume. But, you know, imagine if people were upset about criticizing Jeffrey Epstein just because he killed himself. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't actually kill himself. Never mind. But this is to paraphrase Joe DeVito, when someone does something, conservatives will ask what happened. Liberals will ask who did it. It's a common strategy of DARVO, which stands for deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. And that's what's happening here.
DARVO.
I love an acronym.
Great 1970s band. Whip it, I think.
DARVO, yeah. Whip it good.
So, Jeff, this is a perfect topic for you because suicide's not funny either.
I don't understand. I'm very funny.
Isn't it kind of like if you feed somebody's like delusion or their I think he had Munchausen, like he constantly was, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's almost long-term abuse.
Yeah, I also think that this is, if I could put into one word, modern's biggest problem, it's accountability. There's no like accountability for anything. It's always someone else's fault. Oh, I cheated because so-and-so was neglecting me at home. Or it isn't me, it was my mom and dad's fault. My therapist blamed it on so-and-so. My ex was a narcissist. It's always someone else. It's always something else. And so nobody knows how to take accountability for any of the things that are happening. But if media or mean media or whatever it's called counted for suicide, then why didn't Donald Trump kill himself by now?
Yeah.
Like he could blame the media and go, you guys were so hard on me, you know? You see it in the WNBA issue where they're all like, they don't want to deal with the real information of it because it sounds like it's mean. They're so worried about things being mean that they don't want to take accountability for what's actually happening.
I've been told I'm mean all my life, and I finally realized I was right.
Yeah. Well, Simon Cowell he sounds mean, but he's being honest.
Yeah. It's just
saying that a biological male will dominate a biological female sounds mean, but it's honest.
Yeah.
Being this guy's resume was full of that's honest, but maybe a little mean to his lives.
The biggest criticism.
He's right. He's right.
The biggest criticism of this show is that it's mean.
Right.
They
Or
can't
that you're mean.
Yeah. Well, it is called Gutfeld. But it's true. That's the number one. But the thing is, Kat, one of the things that I hate about the people that hired him is they loved Arday because they treated him like a trophy.
Yeah.
It's like they got him, Harvard didn't get him, they got him, oh look, we got the youngest black professor and he's like a visionary, he's like a savant, blah, blah, blah.
So condescending.
Yeah.
It is condescending, and also the fact that it makes them ultimately look really bad because Cambridge, I've heard, from what I've heard about it, is supposed to be full of scholars.
Yes.
And they're all scholars over there, and, you know, you can't get in because you're not a scholar enough, and we have pipes and whatever. But with all, right? That's, okay, yeah. With all the scholaring they're doing, they couldn't scholar this.
No, he out-scholared them.
The people who he actually stole the work from, that's kind of how the ball got rolling on this, which, obviously plagiarism isn't victimless. It's stealing someone else's work, which is stealing, and stealing is never victimless. But it makes them look bad on that level, too. It's like, hey, guys, aren't you supposed to be the ones who figure everything out? Where were you on this one? It wasn't like it was just a lie.
Yeah.
There was a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
And not one scholar among all of your little scholar hangs could pick out even one of them.
Yeah.
What does that say about you guys?
Yeah, and to keep the monologue at a reasonable length, I couldn't list all of the things that this guy did. Some of them were just insane.
Not just one.
No, he claimed that he was on a TV show that existed before he was born. And and it's like, you're right. But I do think it was a willful ignorance of there, because this was a trophy and they didn't want to give it back. Anyway, on to more fun things.
More fun than that?
Yeah.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.